I've been suffering from gout since I turned 30. My gout flares were horrible, yet I didn't pay much attention to it. I was in denial, I guess. The first time gout attacked me, I was working one day. The next day I couldn't get out of bed without limping my way out of the bed. Many people I've talked to told me that my symptoms were indeed gout, yet I never took care of myself and continued my daily diet: yummy steak, baby back ribs, oxtail, and full-on barbecues I would attend. Of course there were beer. Gotta love a beer or two, or five. I remember my gout attack started on my left foot, under the arch on a rainy morning. By midday my ankles had seized up from trying to move around the house. That darn foot had swollen like a balloon. The color of my skin had turned reddish purple. By this time my toes started to hurt also. Like I mentioned, I didn't think that my condition was gout. Laying around and not being able to walk at all, I laid in bed all day until nightfall. It was horrible trying to sleep with a throbbing foot. My foot had a heart of its own. I could hear the beat with every movement or no movement I made. Every slight twitch caused pain. Sleep barely came to me on that night. Somehow, being so tired, I fell asleep at last. The next day was even worse. My whole foot was stiff as a stick. I was bedbound. Feeling depressed, I turned on the TV and tried watching YouTube to kill some time. By 10 a.m. my stomach started growling, yet I can barely walk. So I got on my knees and crawled to the kitchen. If I had to guess how long it took me to crawl to my kitchen, I would say 5 minutes, because that was hell. Walking to the kitchen only takes 15 seconds. If you didn't crawl like a baby and had soft knees like a newborn crawling on wood floors. I get to the refrigerator and yup, you guessed it, I had to pick myself up by pulling the door handle. Pizza was in the refrigerator, and here I go jumping on 1 foot to the microwave, which is approximately 6 foot from the fridge. Now that the pizza is warm, it's time to crawl back to the bedroom. I managed to microwave 6 slices. Ain't no way I was going back to grab more food later in this condition. With pizza on my plate, I decided to jump on 1 foot back to the bedroom. My plan was to chill out the rest of the day and do the least amount of movement. For goodness sake, when I got back to the bedroom, my dumb ass didn't grab any drinks. So, here I go again, dreading and jumping my way back to the kitchen on 1 foot. I grabbed a Walmart bag and stuffed it full of water bottles. No sugar drinks though, because I was kinda scared that this could be gout. Yes, the doubtful me had a little conscious of gout. With the Walmart bag full of water, I tied it up and got on my knees again and crawled my way back to the bed. At last I'm lying on the bed about to cry. It was horrible. I'm taking deep breaths after all this and reconsidering my life. My gosh, everything seemed miserable at the time. Scrolling through YouTube, there was nothing good to watch. Survivor Man it is, I mumbled. Feeling tired, I didn't last, but maybe a few minutes into the show, my eyes went to limp mode and my body turned to the side. Sleepless night exhausted the body. My eyes closed and I fell asleep. All of a sudden, I woke up to my body feeling heavy. The show had stopped. Quietness was in the air. The bedroom door was open. I didn't remember it being open. Then the door slowly closed. I couldn't move at all. I felt paralyzed. The only noise I could hear was throbbing of my gout. In pain, I stared at the door. Something was behind the door. I could see movement. There stood a shadow about 7 foot tall. The head nodded along with the throbbing on my gout. It moved up, then down, then up, then down. Then, it leaped towards me. The shadow lay beside me and laughed. It didn't sound like a human laugh. The laugh sounded more like a demon from the movies. It was low and slow. Standing on top of me, it stared with white eyes into my soul. I cried in horror. Surprisingly, the demon disappeared. I can move again. I jumped up and tried running, but I fell to the ground once I felt the pain of my left foot. I'm sweating profusely. I don't know what to do, so I lay on the floor and stare at the ceiling. Something tickled the bottom of my foot. I glance at my foot, and the demon is under the bed. Its hands long and dark, yet I couldn't make out its clear figure. The hand retrieved quickly, and the demon vanished under the bed. I get on my knees and start crawling to the living room. Not knowing what to do, I lay on the couch. Thankfully, my phone was in my pocket the whole time this occurred. I didn't have to crawl back to the bedroom. I called my oldest brother and told him to come over. I told him I need some help with simple chores around the house since my foot was hurting. He had to work the night shift, so he told his oldest son, which was 21, to come over. Edward arrived at the house an hour later. He asked me what I needed done. With a fake laugh, I told him to have a seat and let's watch a movie since I'm in no need of help at the moment. With hours passing by, and we are both just watching movies, Edward told me it's getting late, so he's going back home. I did ask him to sleep over. He denied my request. Edward wanted to sleep on his own bed. By this time, it's 8 p.m. The time had flown by. I must have slept through a few hours. Edward must have been bored out of his mind. Some time passed by as I looked at my watch. My watch read 2 a.m. in the morning. With a throbbing foot, I said, "F it. I'll sleep on the couch tonight." I closed my eyes and tried going to sleep. A tap noise came from behind my head. Then a smack hit the back of my head. I got up and turned quickly. Nothing was there. The hair from my neck stood up. The lights were on. The TV still running. "Ain't no way anything is supposed to happen," I murmured. That night my eyes wandered around the house. The tap continued through the night. The tapping occurred randomly. Tap, tap. Then, as if someone punched the walls, a loud bang would occur. Stuck in the house, I wanted to leave so bad. I had a car, but I'm so tired too. Angrily, I yelled out, "Stop messing with me." It was quiet for sure. Then the tapping noise came back. I ignored it and nothing came to it. The third day, I crawled my ass back to the bed. My couch did not feel comfortable at all. My back was sore and I had sunken into the couch the whole time. The thing didn't bother me until nighttime. Staring on my phone, scrolling through my Facebook feed, my blanket starts moving. Something was pulling it towards my feet. I pull the blanket back quickly and glance at the bed. I'm terrified at what is to begin. I start praying to all the gods in the world. It did not matter which god can save me now. I'll take any one of them. Holding the blanket tightly, I can feel tension from the other end. A shadow runs from under the bed towards the bedroom door. The door swings open and a cold breeze blows into the bedroom. A shadow raises up from the hallway. The shadow walks towards me. As it did, it got smaller and smaller until it reached the bottom of the bed. The shadow disappeared from my view. At this point, the tension never did increase, but it was there for sure. For too long this kept going. I got the urge to try to get a hold of myself. My right foot was so tense I didn't even notice that the whole time. My right foot must have wrapped itself around my blanket, and that was the reason I couldn't pull my blanket up. That tension I felt was my foot wrapped around the blanket. Exhausted, I relaxed and laughed a little. "Man, I'm done for the night," I whispered to myself. Evidently my foot did heal after one whole week of dealing with the constant pain. When the gout disappeared, so did that demon. I'm not sure if that demon came because I was crippled, or has it always been around me. I've been taking care of my foot lately, so I haven't had a flare-up in a few months. Guys, I hope no one ever have gout. People say being pregnant is hard. That 1 week of gout was unbearable. The demon that came to hang out with me while I couldn't do crap didn't help either. Bless you all, and to those who have gout, stay shivering.